Network Entertainment.
This is Let's Talk, and I'm Pia Ontiveros. This is Let's Talk, of course, is powered by the Pod Network, where we unbox, unpack, and take things apart and explain and expound over and over again if we have to. This episode with Cliff Eala here of BS Works came about because I attended the two-day Digicon. It is the annual conference at the DMAP, Digital Marketing Association of the Philippines, and Cliff spoke there at the end of day one, and I felt it was a fascinating talk, of course, all about AI. But he didn't have enough time, and so I said, I need to invite him. I need to invite you, para you can really give us the whole talk, kumbaga, and that's the whole episode already. So, Cliff, thank you for being here and for agreeing to do this. Before anything else, two important questions, no, because about your name, Cliff Eala, and the name of your firm, BS Works. So, of course, and I remember this, you said it at Digicon. The first thing you said was, you are the uncle of?
Alex Eala.
Ayun, okay. And then, of course, syempre, yung isang tanong doon ano yung BS Works? Kasi, di ba, everything, BS.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Well, first, thank you, Pia, for inviting me to do this. I was surprised you came over. And thank you for your compliments. No, BS Works is a behavioral science and data science consulting firm. So we look at customer journeys and try to identify what's blocking behaviors toward the outcomes we're trying to achieve with the improvement of the customer journeys.
Okay, and you are behavioral scientist
Yes,
by
we're
profession.
behavioral scientists, data scientists.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, that's great. Okay, and of course, and the audience can also see, at least the ones who are watching, no. But we're gonna try, for those who are listening, we're gonna try and describe as much as possible the slides. So these are the actual slides of Cliff's talk, for, like I said, for Digicon. Para, I believe kasi in making things as visual as possible. So this is the title, the first slide, and the title is The Behavioral AI Trap. How marketing could lose its soul. It's interesting that you use the word trap. Behavioral AI trap. Why trap?
Well, because there's a parallelism to losing the soul. And the example I started with was, when you watch people sing, they are technically perfect, but they do not connect. So there's a missing. You see that all the techniques are there, but it's flat. It doesn't connect with the audience.
Yeah.
Now, if you use AI, there are a lot of tools in AI to help you with the marketing job. Just because it checks many boxes in this, using the analogy of the singing, the technical aspects of singing, doesn't mean that the marketing campaign or the marketing plan will work. Because you might be missing certain aspects which are actually key to changing behavior or persuading people to do certain things. That's why in the talk, I talk about certain outcomes that we achieve with AI. These outcomes can be good, but they can also be bad.
Right.
And some of them are actually dangerous.
Dangerous, yeah. That's obviously a play on the good and the bad and the ugly,
Yes.
but you choose to use the word dangerous, huh?
Because one, a lot of this is happening in the back end, and it's not obvious or immediately recognizable by the users. But the AI can actually be shaping the way people think. It can be shaping the way people behave without the people actually knowing that this is already happening. Right? And that's the dangerous part. Because whoever has control of that AI has control over public opinion, has control over public behavior.
Yeah. Can we show the second slide where it's very clear there, the good, the bad, and the
Yes. So
dangerous?
here, when I say good, two things that the AI does pretty well today is hyper-personalization.
What is that? For those who
This
are
is-
not in marketing.
This is a set of activities where you adapt the message or adapt the campaign to specific characteristics of your target customer, your target audience, so that because of that match, the persuasive power of the message is stronger. And therefore, if the persuasive power of the message is stronger, you're more likely to move the behavior, right? Instead of, in contrast with just going generic. Okay? That's the hyper personalization part. So we used to think about personalization at a segment level, meaning at a group level. With AI, you can personalize to the individual level. Right?
Okay. Which is weird, no? Because for the longest time, this is what I heard all throughout the 2-day Digicon. Di ba yung marketing, may mga segment pa.
Yes.
So now, parang is this the opposite
Now it's
of
a
that?
segment of one.
Segment of one.
Segment of one.
Yeah.
Instead
Okay.
of a segment of, like, let's say, segment of moms, segment of dads, segment of middle-aged entrepreneurs. Right? Now, instead of a segment of 100 people, it's a segment of one. And you now customize the message for each person you are talking to. That's why they add the word hyper. To the personalization part.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Then the second thing here you see on the screen is customer service chatbots. So instead of a person actually chatting back to you, it's the AI talking back to you, or we're answering your queries about, let's say, a product or about a service or about a complaint.
Yeah. And it's still good because
It's still
you get
good
an
because
immediate.
you can train the AI to do this task pretty well. As long as you define the task well and you have the data with which to train, and this is typically data around products, your customers, customer service, calls, and logs. All of that is specific to your company and specific to your customers. If you can take that and train the AI on it, the responses will be pretty good.
In other words, hindi maiinis ang customer
Hindi maiinis
mo
ang
kasi
customer.
sumagot ka kaagad.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
There are certain, so that's where you need to map out the journey, because at certain points you will need a handoff to a human. Right. So
Right.
you cannot just say, oh, let's put a chatbot in place and the chatbot will handle everything that the customer will ask for.
Yeah.
There are certain things it can do well, it's predefined, and there are certain things where
Yeah.
you say, let's hand off to the human.
Yeah. You hand it to the human, that's so important. Ako, I prefer, okay lang pag simple, pero pag medyo complicated na, tapos galit ka na,
Yeah.
ayaw mong kausap yung bot, diba? You want to talk to
Yes.
a real human being.
Yes. And typically, when you call a customer service hotline or you chat,
Yeah.
you're irate.
Yes.
Because
Why else would you be chatting with them?
Right? But if it's, let's say, where's your store in Makati? Well, that's an easy thing to answer,
Yeah.
right? But if it's, you charged me an extra interest penalty or interest rate for my bill, which you delivered late to me, that's a little bit more complex.
Yeah.
Right?
Okay. So that is the good.
That's the good part.
For those who are listening, so we're showing a slide that says good, and then like Cliff was saying earlier, number 1, hyper personalization, and 2, the customer service chat bots. Now we're going to the bad. Okay.
So the bad is content creation. I'll articulate a little. I'll talk a little bit more about this later. But at the general level, this is when you use AI to create your ad copy, your headlines, and even to generate your visuals. For think of a Facebook post or an Instagram post. You have an ad copy, you have a caption, you have an image, you have a headline, right? The attempts are to use AI to do all of that. Now, the AI is not yet there.
Parang there's a little bit of dishonesty there. Dishonesty ba yun?
Maybe if you equate that with authenticity, yes, it is. And I say the AI is not there because you can detect that it's AI.
Yes.
When it's writing the copy. if you've used some of the LLMs, you've noticed that, oh, that's how the LLM talks.
What's the LLM?
Large language model, ChatGPT
Okay.
or Claude.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You notice that there's some disconnect from from it being authentic.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like,
It's not human.
yes, and it's
Because-
not your real. It's like
Yeah.
if you're looking at my LinkedIn page, you'll realize that, oh, that's not how Cliff writes. That doesn't sound natural.
Yes.
Right now, that's not very good yet, but it's going towards there, going towards that
Okay.
direction.
Okay.
Right.
So from
And-
the good, the bad, and now
And
the
the dangerous. Okay, the
Okay.
dangerous has to do with trust in the AI, bias embedded in the AI and the responses of the AI, and then this whole issue of privacy, right? How do I, like, there are times when I want to withdraw access to my own data. How do I do that? Yes, you give the option to do that, but it takes me an hour and a half to figure out how to remove your access to my data. Then from a practical point of view, you're not really giving me the option. Right? Even if legally you're giving me the option. And then explainability is this part where you need to, when we make decisions based on recommendations from the AI, you still need to understand why you're making those decisions.
Yeah.
Because
And where the AI was coming from
Yes.
to even suggest it, no?
correct. Because at the end of the day, the responsibility lies
yours.
on me.
Yeah.
Right. So if you go on, if you act as a news anchor
Yeah.
and you don't know where the AI got that data,
You're still responsible
you're still
for it.
responsible for
Oo,
what you
oo.
said. You can't say no, that came from the AI.
So, so, ikaw pa rin ang kakasuhan. Hindi
Correct.
naman kakasuhan ng AI, di ba?
Kahit kasuhan nila, wala naman silang magagawa doon sa AI. Right? So that's the explainability part. And this
Okay.
extends to even like in the medical field. If the doctor takes the recommendation of the AI and something happens to the patient, who's going to be sued? It's the
Yeah.
doctor. The doctor cannot say, no, it
the
came from the
AI.
AI. So that's a problem.
And why would the doctor do that if he or she went to medical school?
Maybe he wants to cut corners or
Ay, okay.
that's a problem
Yeah.
there. That's the problem there. That's
Okay.
why that's the dangerous part.
Okay.
Right.
All right.
We'll start off with hyper-personalization and why is AI doing this in a good way? When I say good, I don't refer here from an ethical point of view, but more from a technical point of view. Meaning,
Oh, there's a difference
It can,
pa.
yeah,
Okay.
it can do it. It
Yeah.
can do it in a good way, in a technically good way, but for what purpose? Which will
Okay.
define whether it is ethical or non-ethical. That's a different angle altogether, right?
Okay.
Like if I can frame a copy in a way that actually influences people, that can be technically good.
Technically good. Yeah.
But if my
okay.
end is to get people to believe something that's not true, that's ethically not good. That's unethical. So therefore, you need to distinguish. Just because the AI can do it doesn't mean it is something that we as humans should be supporting and doing. And that's where all the governance around AI is coming
So the
in.
big question on morality also.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
So here I note when you personalize, and I'll take as an example, if I want to convince a person to buy a particular product, I can personalize based on demographic characteristics or attributes. So examples there would be personalized based on name or personalized based on life stage of a person. Another way of personalizing is through behavior. So if you take all the data of a person, let's say if you're a bank, the person makes deposits, makes withdrawals, borrows a loan, repays a loan, buys insurance, makes an investment in the stock market. All of these things are captured as data in the database of the bank. That's behavior. That data is reflective of the behavior of a person.
Yeah.
Now, I can personalize using the behavior of the person. So if I know that this person just gave birth to a child, and uh, the person has no insurance for the kids, I know that could be an opportunity to personalize, right?
Parang Big Brother talaga is watching.
Yes, yes. That's why it's
Yeah.
dangerous.
Yeah.
That's why it's
Oo.
dangerous.
And that's why, di ba, they always say, oh, be careful what you search in Google, for example. Be careful what you shop online because everything's already traceable.
Correct.
Everybody knows everything you did.
Yes.
Hindi lang ang Diyos. So this is not just between you and God. It's between you, God, and the entire
And whoever
internet.
controls
Yeah.
whoever controls all the data.
Yeah.
There's so much power. In
Power.
that. Whoever
Yeah.
controls that.
Yeah.
Imagine I gave you examples of commercial products. Imagine in politics what's going on there. Right? It is happening. It's not, this is not fairy
Yeah,
tale
this is
anymore.
not, and
It's
this is
happening
not the
today.
future. It's happening
It's happening
now.
today. It's
Yeah.
happening today. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
So another way of personalizing is through personality traits. So if I know you're a person who's an introverted, I'm not gonna pitch you a travel package talking about explore the wilderness and be surprised with the openness of this new world, right? Because as an introvert, that's not what I like doing.
Yeah.
The message won't resonate, but I can reframe the message to be congruent to the introvert personality. And when that becomes congruent, the persuasive power becomes stronger, right? So
Okay.
at this point, I'd like to mention the need for collaboration between the AI and the human. So when you're personalizing, the AI is just a bunch of algorithms that makes recommendations, right? But the data that it's supposed to be using to make the recommendations is typically framed by the human, right? Because if the data that you give the AI is not predictive of the recommendation it's going to make, then the recommendation is useless, right? You see recommender systems in many things in your phone. Pick up your phone, you open Netflix, you open Spotify. That's all recommender systems at the back.
Even on social media, yung mga sites, di ba? Facebook, Instagram.
Yeah, that's
Lumalabas sa feed mo yung the things that you usually like.
Yes,
Di ba?
yes.
Oh, okay.
and that creates the echo chamber.
Yes,
Right?
yes. Oo.
So that's the bad part.
Yeah.
Because if the AI creates the echo chamber,
Yeah.
you end up shaping the opinion of the person. He thinks that's what everybody thinks, but that's
Right.
not what you think.
Right.
And that's not what he thinks.
Right. And then that's why we think we are right. Tayo yung perfect, everybody else is imperfect.
So from
Parang
the echo
ganon, yeah.
chamber, you shift to polarization. That's what's
Okay.
going on there. Right. Again, that's why the need for governance around this.
Okay.
Okay, I'll move on. This is an example I showed and I mentioned earlier, right? If you're targeting certain people, you want to make the message congruent to the personality type of the person, so that the persuasive power is strong. And this study was done 2017.
Okay.
They looked at 3 million users on a social media platform. They were pitching a Korean beauty product, and they profiled personalities. And they pitch the same product to introverts and extroverts. When the message was adapted to the personality type, it was more persuasive than just a standard message. Right?
Okay.
So they were showing how targeting based on personality can actually increase the persuasive power of messaging.
Right.
Okay,
Then
chatbots.
The good.
Yes, still
Yes,
the
chatbots, huh?
chatbots,
Yeah.
right? So here are 3 use cases of chatbots. Right? One is your typical FAQs that the customers ask, like where's your store located? Where's your store in Makati located? Or what's the nearest clinic I can go to? That's your typical FAQ, or frequently asked questions. Scheduling, so scheduling an appointment, you can also use chatbots, and the chatbots can do this pretty well today. Right?
Yeah.
Product persuasion, I touched a little bit on this earlier, where the AI will profile you based on the data it has about you, and then reframe the message to be resonant with you. and therefore increase the persuasiveness of the message. So that's also being done today already.
Yeah.
Right?
We're still in the good.
Still in
Now
the
let's
good.
go to the
Now
bad.
let's go to the bad. Let's go to the bad.
Content generation.
So with content, the direction here is to automate an entire process which starts from the creation of ad copy to the posting on social media. So you have things like when you post an ad on Facebook. Let's just take an example of Facebook. You need a caption, you need a visual, you need an ad copy, and you need the time on which it is best to post. Now, the traditional way of doing that is the warm body who's crafting all of this, right?
Yeah. The one who comes up with the idea.
Comes up with the idea,
Yeah, the concept, and
concept.
then, ano, di ba, dati may storyboard, yung mga ganun.
storyboard, and then wordsmiths
Wordsmiths, yeah.
the caption, and then decides what picture to put with it so that it matches the caption.
Yeah. And it would take hours and sleepless nights, no?
Yes.
And then,
So if you can do the desire or the direction around this work is, can we automate that entire process with AI? Now, if you can, and it's not going to be just for one post. It's going to be for 1 million posts across several accounts. Now, if you're able to do that properly,
yeah.
you can shape opinion at scale. Right? So, we are not yet there. And people are trying to do this. Sometimes the image does not match the caption, or the caption sounds off.
Yeah.
Right?
Kasi hindi tao gumawa.
Yes.
Ganun.
Yes. Or maybe it was trained on the US culture, the UK culture. So when you bring it to the Philippines, the caption it generates is off. Right? So will we get there? Well, I think we will. Because eventually the AI will learn from data in the Philippines.
Okay. But how soon is that going to happen?
Oh, it's anybody's guess. I really don't know. I wouldn't be surprised if it's there within 3 years.
Wow, that's.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Okay. You know this thing about an idea for an ad. Diba when the advertising firms, all the people there, all these creatives, diba when you're thinking, when we write, we think, diba? When we think, our brain is exercised. I mean, and the brain is a
Supposedly.
muscle. Supposedly, yeah, okay. But let's pretend.
Let's assume for now.
Yeah. Pero parang na-imagine ko, okay, so if people in the advertising industry aren't going to be creating, conceptualizing ads anymore and then leave it to the AI, so you don't get to exercise your brain, which is a muscle, and we all know what happens to a muscle when it's not exercised, diba? So if AI is going to take over the whole process, what's going to happen to humankind?
Well,
or is that
that's a
something
can
a
of
talk
worms.
that you can that you'll do in like 5 years?
Well, we don't only, that's not a problem. That's a problem not only in the workplace but also in schools.
Yes.
Because there's a tendency to offload the high-level thinking work, the creative thinking work, the critical reasoning thinking work onto the AI.
Yeah.
So 2 things happen. One is you're being fed by the AI and you don't know why you're being fed what it's feeding you. That's the explainability part, right? And there's bias around that. And the second thing is the impact on you. As you said, the more you not use the muscle, or if you still don't have the muscle and you're trying to develop it, which is the case of people in school.
Yeah.
Like
For kids.
High school, even college, all of the, I'm sure at school you've done so many of these essays, right?
Yes.
The content is important, but the process of reasoning behind writing what you're writing is what you actually develop through the process of essay writing.
Right.
And that's what you lose that or you will not develop it if you just rely on AI the whole time, right? So, as you see, there's a good part and there's a bad part to it, right? And that's why schools are also struggling with, okay, how do we handle this AI thing?
Yeah.
Do I allow people to use it? Like in your class, would you allow people to use it?
Well,
When would you allow
yeah.
to use it?
Oo. For kunyari, for research, parang
Yeah.
ganun, ano? Parang, okay, go ahead, but then, parang ako, I would rather, okay, go ahead, but you need to check and verify
Yeah,
with other sources, talk to people,
Yeah.
diba? Not just search.
Yeah.
I mean, isn't that what we would do with Google?
Right,
There's Google, there's Wikipedia, websites, but also talk to people, make phone calls. Yung mga ganon, I don't know.
But even all of that,
Yeah.
that requires some reasoning.
That requires, yes,
Like,
it does.
why am I doing
Yeah.
these calls?
Oo. And then, pag medyo, kasi some students would say, mahihirapan sila, di ba? But that's precisely what we need to do to evolve into better versions of ourselves.
And develop the skill.
When we think, yeah.
Yeah.
Because we're thinking, nahihirapan tayo. Pasalamat tayo, nahihirapan tayo that we can think.
That's
Diba?
actually
Yeah.
how you develop the skill.
Right.
You don't develop the skill just by sitting down. You
Yes.
need to exert the effort. Right. And that's the problem of offloading a lot of this work to the AI.
Yeah. Oo.
Now, there's a good part because the AI can give you facts, but you have to come in. You have to think through. Okay, does the AI make sense? Where did it get this?
Yeah. Oo.
How does it fit
Oo.
into the position I'm trying to argue for?
Oo. You're saying para bang dun pwede pumasok pa rin yung critical thinking skill. Diba? In other words, don't swallow everything hook,
AI
line, and sinker that the AI
Correct.
says, which is what we should be doing anyway, long before the age of AI.
Yeah.
Diba? Okay. Your next slide is interesting. It says here, and for those who are just listening, the slide says augment versus replace.
There's this question I hear a lot. Will the AI replace jobs? My answer to that is some. It will. So make no mistake about it. There are certain jobs that will go because of AI, right? But the more interesting part is when you learn to use AI, which is the kind of upskilling we need, when you learn to use AI to augment your own capability, right? And the phrase I use is AI for first draft, human expert for final draft.
Yes.
So the
perfect.
starting point is not a blank piece of paper anymore. Before it would be Google.
Yeah.
Now it's ChatGPT or Claude or one of these.
Yeah. And long ago it was the encyclopedia,
Encyclopedia.
or the dictionary in the school library.
Yes, yes.
Okay. So again, AI for first draft,
Human expert
human
for
expert for
final
final.
draft.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
So if you're,
Which is really okay na rin.
Yeah.
Okay na rin.
Yeah.
Pwede na rin if you insist on using AI.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
so I'll move on to the
Yes.
next slide. Okay, let's go to the
Ito na,
dangerous part.
dangerous. Oh my
Okay.
God.
So dangerous part, the trust issue. Should I trust what my social media page is telling me? Right? Because we already know that what it's feeding me is curated based on what I liked before, what I commented on, what people like me like, right? So if you take a step back, we already know that there's a bias around the way it was curated. But when we're actually scrolling in the moment, we're not thinking about, is there bias here? We're reading it and we're taking it in, and then
Taking it for gospel
yeah,
truth.
yes,
Okay.
we're not on guard. We're just relaxing. We're on the
Yeah.
couch, just lazy Sunday afternoon, and we're just scrolling, and then we just take it in. We take it in. We take it in,
And then we're
and
just
as you know,
digesting everything.
yeah. And there's this saying: familiarity is the precursor of truth. The more often you see it, if you see it every day, it's said to you in different ways. It's told to you by different people. Even if it's not true, the simple fact that you see it every day, it's mentally available whenever something triggers it, you now think it's true, right?
Okay.
So that's dangerous.
Yeah.
That's dangerous because what is being fed to you is manipulative by design. Right? Okay, so the
Wait,
next
familiarity is the precursor,
is the
of,
precursor
truth.
of truth.
Remember that, listeners, viewers?
That's
Okay. Yeah.
that's the foundation on which advertising is built.
The power of suggestion ba yun?
Yeah.
I'll suggest something and then maya't maya, oh nga no,
Yeah.
ganun. Okay. Yes.
So on the bias part, the example I gave was in the Philippines, we very rarely would hire somebody who has a turban and is called Ahmed, simply because there are not very many, right? We hire people who are called Pedro or Juan or Bong and they don't have a turban, right? So that's your data. Now, if you feed that data into the AI learns, okay, this is how I screen people to hire. Typically, they're named Bong. Typically, they're named Juan. Typically, they don't have turbans. Typically, they're not called Ahmed. Now, when Ahmed walks in the door, he can be brilliant. He has a turban. The AI picks that up. No.
X. Okay.
Bias. That's bias.
Yeah.
And that's bias embedded in an algorithm that does this automatically. So if you do that for every 10,000 people who come through your door to apply, and you screen that way, you're already stacking it unfairly against certain populations. And you can apply this in credit scoring, you can apply this in immigration, you can apply this in security screening. That's the bias part. The thing is, it's not done by one security guard to another person. It's just done by machine at scale across everybody else.
Yeah.
So that's the
At
problem.
scale. Oh,
That's
at
problem.
scale. Yeah.
Parents, this is your cheat code to understanding your gamer kid. This is Keri Kita, guide for non-gamer parents. I'm Ray.
And I'm Joey. Hardcore gamers, hardcore parents. Let's learn from each other. Dito,
Keri Kita.
And then finally, the privacy part. This is where you have the personalization privacy paradox. You want more personalization? I need more data. You have to give up more privacy. If you want more privacy, then you won't get personalization. I can send you ads for diapers when you don't even have a kid. That's the trade-off there. And that's fine as long as you give consent. The problem in this area is the friction there is to withdraw consent on the data you give consent to. So if I go to a social media platform, again, it's easy example. I consent to you using my data. You can share it so that you personalize offers to me. Okay, I've given consent. Now, if one day I decided, I don't want you to use my data anymore, I'll just go with whatever generic stuff you send me. Now you have to figure out how to undo that consent. And the owners of the platform do not make that easy. They actually make it difficult for you to do.
To take it back.
Legally, they're required to legally give you the option. So they comply. But from a practical point of view, it becomes difficult to do. Therefore, you end up not doing it.
But in this age where everybody overshares, di ba? That's a problem also. I mean, nasa sa atin din yun eh. We like to overshare. We like,
Yes.
I mean, even if people don't write something out, I mean, video that's posted in real time, where you are, what you're wearing, etc., what you're eating. Di ba?
So imagine everybody gave the data with consent. And you're getting outcomes that are bad for society. What are you going to do now? You're going to tell the people to, okay, withdraw consent. But to withdraw consent, it takes me an hour and a half to figure out how to withdraw consent. Do you think I'll even bother withdrawing consent? I won't. And you won't. And the other person won't. But the damage is already done. That's why regulators have to understand what's actually going on so that they can act before this even mothballs.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
Next.
Explainability.
Explainability.
Whoever is giving us the AI has to get us to understand why when we make decisions, why we're making the decisions with the reasons the AI is giving us. Again, because it boils down to
Who's
accountability.
responsible?
Who's responsible?
Who's accountable?
Who's accountable?
Right. Okay. And like you said earlier, hindi naman pwedeng kasuhan ng AI.
Yes.
Ikaw na, kunyari, kung executive producer ka or you're the head of the ad agency or whatever. Ikaw yon.
It ends with you. You need to be responsible.
And people understand that now, huh? Or they don't. It's not.
They do.
They do.
They do. But here's like in our world of behavioral scientists, there's this thing we call intention action gap. For example, people know they should go for their annual checkup. It's good for them. That's what the standard of care recommends. You should go for annual checkups. But who does? Intention. You
The
know it's
gap
good for
between
you.
intention and
You
action.
actually even want to do it.
Yeah. You intend to
intend
do it.
but you don't
I
do it.
plan,
Yeah.
but I won't.
Yeah.
Okay.
Same thing
Okay.
here. Right? I will guard my data well. I won't just give it to anyone. But when you download an app, consent form, tick box, actually pre-ticked for you, you just submit.
Yeah.
Bam, there it goes.
Okay. Okay. All right. So explainability, and then strategic insight.
So the example here is, would you ask AI to write up your marketing plan for next year? Well,
Ano yan? Trabaho ng tamad.
trabaho ng tamad yan.
Oh.
But do you think a large company or even a medium-sized company would actually accept that?
They wouldn't,
Won't.
right?
They won't.
Okay.
And again, the AI can give you the marketing plan with all the elements of a marketing plan ticked off, right? But that's just the form, but the substance is not there, and the implications and the actions you need to take in anticipation of what will happen next year may not be there. So that's why I say it's dangerous to just rely on the AI because it'll give you something that looks good, but is it correct? Is it what you need?
Yeah. And it's not something you thought through,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
Which for me makes it dangerous.
Yeah.
Yeah. How is
Okay.
AI
So
shaping?
this moves to the second part of the presentation. So
Okay.
the question they asked me to address was, okay, with all of this good, bad, and dangerous, what's the impact to the organizations moving forward in terms of the operation, culture, and leadership? So that's what I try to address in the succeeding slides. So this just gives you an overview of what that looks like. It's a busy slide. I will not go through everything, but it gives you context of what the bigger picture looks like. You see on the left side, leftmost, you'll see good, bad, and dangerous. And then you'll see the 6 items I mentioned earlier: hyper-personalization, CS chatbots, content generation, trust privacy, explainability, and insight. And then the succeeding columns are operations, culture, and leadership. Now, in each of those cells, I list certain things, but I will only go through a few of them, which are now shown in bold on the screen. And I'll comment on each of them as we go through the slides. So as far as hyper-personalization is impacting operations of a firm, you now have to think cross-functional personalization. Meaning, personalization is not only now a job of marketing, because there's heavy use of data which is being used to personalize. Right? I mentioned earlier, you can personalize with demographics, behavior, personality traits. Now, the combination of the data and the personalization work at marketing requires a more varied set of skills. And that's why you need to bring in other teams, people from other teams with a different skill set, so that the decisions and the output of the work you're doing becomes more effective. Okay? Rapid experimentation. So before you roll out, let's say you're running a campaign, right? And at the core of the campaign is a certain tagline. When you hyper-personalize, you want to adapt the tagline to each segment of one, right? If you're talking to 1 million people, it will resonate with some, it won't resonate with others. So when you release the tagline to the different segments or to the different people, you want to know what the response is. Did it resonate? Did they do what you're asking them to do? Right? And that's a process of experimentation where you release something you're testing and you see if the effect you're looking for is actually happening. Now, because you now have the capability to harvest the responses through data quickly, you also need the capability to process that data and readjust quickly. Gone are the days where you release something and then you wait for 4 months before you readjust. Hindi na pwede. Right? Now it's the next day. The next day, you already measured and you know, okay, this works for this segment, this doesn't work for that segment. Then you readjust. And you can't have 1 million people like readjusting this.
So which campaign tagline in 2022 worked?
We need a different podcast.
Hindi kasi sabi mo kanina, pwede rin sa politika.
Yeah.
Diba? That's what they're doing. Okay, but yeah, another
Another one.
Okay.
And then this links back to the data stream. So that means you have to be able to accommodate almost real-time processing of your data streams. Right? Hindi ka pwedeng, yung results, sige, balikan kayo namin in 2 months. Hindi pwede. Right? So it's a very different way of running the operations of the company.
All right.
Okay, in terms of culture, hindi na pwedeng hippo. Hippo meaning highest paid person's opinion. Ang mag-dominate sa kultura ng isang kumpanya. When decisions are being made and you're trying to figure out solutions to new problems that are coming up, you cannot just rely on just because this person is the highest paid person in the room, that he's automatically right or he has the best recommendation.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
So we need to go to, okay, what's the data behind it? What's the evidence that's telling us that this is the way we should go? Right? And we need to distinguish, I mentioned yesterday, we need to distinguish between what is fact and what is data and what is evidence.
Iba-iba yun, ano?
Iba-iba yun.
Fact, data, evidence.
So if I go
yan.
to, like,
Okay.
the example, I asked somebody in the audience, did you like the conference? He says yes.
Yeah, that's one. The other one.
No, did you like the conference? He says no.
Yeah.
I asked a different person, it's maybe. All of those are facts. But that's not data. Data has to be representative of the audience you're studying.
Parang sampling.
Sampling.
Okay.
Di ba? Because if it's not representative, then biased ka.
Right.
So you cannot say, you cannot argue just based on facts.
Yeah.
That's my point, right? Because you can have your set of facts, I can have mine, but is it actually representative of the audience we're talking about? We don't know, right?
Okay.
And then evidence has to do with the next point, which is causal thinking. Meaning, example, if we have an employee who comes to work on certain days and then you're looking at high customer service scores. And then you see if there's any relationship between person A coming into work and your customer service scores, right? Now, there can be a causal relationship, meaning you have customer service scores that are high because of this person. Because whatever he does. It can also be correlational, nothing to do. Nagkataon lang na nandyan siya. Now, whenever that person is there, you have high customer service scores. But that can be because on that day, it's a sunny day and the customers are happy. It's not because of the person, right? That's just correlational. And finally, it can just be random. Nagkataon lang na nandun siya. And that day, masaya yung customers. But on another day, it can be different. So when you make decisions, what you're looking for is a causal relationship. That, kaya mataas yung customer service scores because of this person coming in. Right? Therefore, what we need to work on is to make sure that this person comes in. It's not just correlational. It's not just shamba. It's because that person, it's what's causing the effect you're looking for.
So, canceled leave lahat. Okay.
Okay, and then here,
Okay.
conclusion is meaning,
Conclusions and limitations.
yeah, you
naman.
need to qualify your conclusions. So when you say customer service scores are going up because of this person, right? But it happens only in store A, B, and C, but it does not happen in D and E. You have to be upfront with that before the audience or the person you're talking to will start questioning it.
Yeah.
So this has to do with the culture in an organization, because some people, they come forward, they think whatever they say applies to everything, and they push it as gospel truth, right? In a situation like that, when you start to be questioned, then the whole storyline crumbles. So my point is, upfront, you have to be upfront with your own conclusions and the limitations of what you're claiming. And that has to be embedded in the culture, in the way people make decisions in the culture. And then on leadership, we recommend that there's a person who now is the head of AI marketing and data. Hindi na pwede yung, like I from marketing, numbers. Pasa mo na yan sa data science people. Right? And then the data science people do their thing, which is nothing to do with what marketing is trying to do. So for instance, the data science people just understand X plus Y equals Z. They don't know that Z is like propensity to buy. And X could be particular life stage of a person. And Y could be his most recent purchase. All of those things, the marketing person knows. So you have to frame the problem properly, because the data science, again, does not have the domain expertise to solve the right problem. So that's why you need a person up there who's running the team who understands both the marketing side and the applications of the data onto marketing. So that walang silos. Walang silos. And that's how you leverage both the marketing skills within the company and the data science skills within the company.
Yeah. Okay. Then where are we going now?
Okay. CS chatbots. The implications for using chatbots in operations is you cannot say, IT people, mag-set up kayo ng chatbot to answer customer service complaints, and then you leave it to them. There has to be a person who's watching the customer journey, because across the customer journey, there are points where the AI will fail. What are those points? When do you have to hand off to a human? What are the scenarios where the AI can continue moving forward? Right? That's not a technical problem. That's more of a customer experience, customer journey problem.
Emotions ang pinag-uusapan.
Yeah.
pag ballistic na yung tao.
Oo. Bigyan mo na ng tao yan.
Bigyan mo na ng tao yan.
Pag-usap mo na yan.
Oo.
Hindi pwedeng, sorry, I do not understand your question.
Okay.
Okay. So there has to be a customer experience owner. Okay, here from a content generation point of
culture.
view, I say that you need to develop a culture where people are not thinking, I don't want AI because it's going to replace me. They have to think, I have to upskill and I have to work with the AI so that I augment my capabilities.
And for those listening, the slide says human plus AI co-creation. Very important
Yes.
term there. Co-creation.
On the leadership side, because of all what's going on in terms of the shifts in the job descriptions or the kind of work that has to be done, leadership has to be aware about the now growing mismatch between the skills sets of the people and the job you're asking them to do. That's why you need to reskill and reallocate your talent.
Yeah. Okay. One of the highlights I thought of your talk was when you came up, you showed us this, parang survey problem.
Oh,
Oo. And it was the way the question was framed.
it's framed.
No? And I remember turning to my friend and saying na, alam mo, journalist ako, ang angulo ko dyan ay, but explain mo na the survey, the problem.
Yeah. So here I asked, I ran a survey across the audience. There were about 600 people there, and I had two versions of the question. The first part was what you see on the screen, which says, imagine that the Philippines is preparing for the typhoon season, which is expected to kill 600,000 people. Two alternative flood control programs, not difficult to imagine,
Okay.
to combat the disease have been proposed. Assume the exact scientific estimates of the consequences of the program are as follows.
Yeah.
So everybody got this top of the question. Now, randomly, some received what you see on the screen, which says, if program A is adopted, 200,000 people will be saved. If program B is adopted, there is a 1/3 probability that 600,000 people will be saved and 2/3 probability that no one will be saved. So if you calculate that, it still
It's
comes
the
out
same.
to 200 people
200,000.
will be saved. 200,000 people will be saved.
Parang it's just the way
I'm
you
just
framed
reframing
it.
it.
Yeah, okay.
Now, on the right side, the other set of people got, if program A is adopted, 400,000 people will die, which is the same thing. 200,000 people will live.
It's it's a nice way to say 200,000 will be saved. The bad way to say it is 400,000 will die.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. And then if program B is adopted, there will be a 1/3 probability that nobody will die and a 2/3 probability that 600,000 people will live. Again, if you work the probabilities in the numbers, it still
the
comes
same.
out to 200,000 people
survive.
will be saved. So in all of those four options, the number is the same. It's still
Right.
200,000 people
Right.
will be saved.
Right.
But it is framed differently. It is worded differently. Now, the results show these. So the first, the purple box shows that most people chose program A on the purple side, right? Which is, if program A is adopted, 200,000 people will be saved. The blue box says most of the people chose B, meaning they avoided A. They chose B, which says if program B is adopted, there is a 1/3 probability that nobody will die and 2/3 probability that 600,000 people will die. Okay. So what's the difference between the tall purple box and the tall blue box? The tall purple box is an outcome that is framed as a gain. 200,000 people will be saved. That's a gain. Okay. On the right side, the blue box, for program B, this is framed as a loss. If program B is adopted, there will be a 1/3 probability that nobody will die and 2/3 probability that 600,000 people will die. Now, the science behind this is when you frame an outcome as a gain, it gets people to be more segurista, more averse to risk. That's why they take the option of 200,000 people will be saved. Siguradong mabubuhay yung 200,000 people, dito na tayo. Right?
Okay.
On the loss framing, when you say if program A is adopted, 400,000 people will die. Ay, ayoko yan. I'd rather gamble. I'd rather take a risk on the other option, which is B.
Yeah.
That's because when you frame an outcome as a loss, people become risk-seeking.
Is it too parang masyado bang simplistic if I say, is this the glass half full or the glass half empty? No, not quite. Okay, that's a long pause. Parang hindi. No.
No.
Okay.
Yeah. But I ran this. I ran the same survey at the Public Relations Society of the Philippines annual conference, where I had something like 800 people.
Okay, and what happened?
The shape of the curve is the same. Exactly the same. I ran it with the Call Center Association of the Philippines. Same setting, conference. I ran it live. Same outcome. So it just shows you that when you frame something like a gain, people become sigurista and they want to take the gain. When you frame it as a loss,
Wag na lang.
wag na lang, and I'll take my chances doing something else.
Okay.
That's the takeaway from this thing.
Okay. All right. And then trust, privacy bias.
Privacy and bias. So here, the end of this is that there needs to be a regulatory framework for this, because individual companies will not do this on their own. Because, and the good analogy here would be pollution of Pasig River. To get the Pasig River clean, government has to step in. You cannot rely on individual manufacturers across the Pasig River to take their own initiative to not pollute the river. Why? Because manufacturer A will say, well, if I spend on not polluting the river, I'm going to be at a cost disadvantage versus the others who are not spending to not pollute the river. Therefore, I won't do it. Manufacturer B says the same thing. Manufacturer C says the same thing. In the end, nobody ends up spending to clean their own mess before dumping it into the river.
Or some big corporation will take up the cudgels and clean the Pasig River. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So, but you're saying it's the government.
my
Government
point
must
is-
step.
my
Regulators
point
must step in.
If you have,
Yeah.
well, if we're lucky, we have that big corporation who's going to do that, fine. But more often than not, that doesn't happen. That's why the regulators have to step in. It's the same situation with what's going on with AI. That's why you need regulators to first understand what's going on,
Yeah.
for them to be able to regulate it properly,
Yeah.
right? Because this thing of privacy, trust, and bias it's here today. It's already happening.
Pero baka naiwanan na yung possible na regulator, di ba? Kasi, I mean, sa bilis, no, the speed of AI, parang can anybody keep up? Lalo na those who are supposed to be regulating?
Well, from a privacy point of view, the issue there is it easy for people to withdraw consent? That's what you have to regulate. You have to mandate the operators
Okay.
to give people an easy way to withdraw consent. Now, let's define what the easy way is. Then you have to go through that process of defining it. But that problem will stay regardless of how the technology moves. Right? Privacy, that's one. Bias is another one. How do you train the AIs? What data are you using? How can we ensure that the data is not biased towards certain populations?
When you talk about regulators, syempre, you're talking about government.
Talking
Government?
about government.
Yeah.
Talking about-
Government the way it is now.
Well,
That's another episode.
another
Okay.
problem. That's another problem. Because if they don't even understand what's going on, how are they going to regulate it?
Yeah.
That's a problem.
And the other question there is that, di ba, para bang no, don't let government regulate something kasi nagkakagulo or
Ah,
hindi maintindihan and then what for?
well, we
Parang
need
ganun,
to.
no?
Yeah.
Okay.
Again, it's another episode.
All right. Okay. And we are already nearing the end of your talk and
Yes.
the end of the podcast.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay,
So you're going to end. Yeah.
explainability.
Yeah.
This is just reiterating what I said earlier, that the decisions that are made based on AI have to be explainable because it affects accountability.
Yeah.
Right?
Hindi pwedeng defense na, sabi kasi ng AI
Hindi
na
pwede.
ano,
Hindi pwede.
kulong ka. Ganon.
Kulong ka.
Okay. Strategic insight culture.
Qualitative inquiry. So, the lazy way is to run a survey and have AI just score the surveys. But when you run a survey, you ask questions, right? Any survey will get answers. The challenge is, are we asking the right questions? And typically, it's the human who understands that. Like, what questions are we supposed to be asking?
Yeah.
Because that is in a sense a creative task.
Right.
Because it is not predefined. Kaya nga you're trying to figure out what questions to ask. And that part is very difficult to replace. That's why in the culture, in the organization, while we rely on data and we accept the algorithms, you cannot lose the creative insight of the people. Because that's what really going to drive the directions of, in this case, of the survey or creating your strategy. It's the thinking of the person that's going to drive that. Okay?
The one who conceptualizes.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
And finally, the accountability part. So I mentioned this over and over again. So we should not talk about, is the AI ethical or not? There's a tendency to think, pass ethical judgments on the AI. No, the AI has no ethics. The subject of ethics is the human, right? Are you doing the right thing or the wrong thing? And the accountability and the guilt and the responsibility is on the human. Right? That's why this thing of having to understand the decisions we're making, this when we make them based on what AI is telling us. So in summary, you have there the good, the bad, and the dangerous. So for the good, you have the cross-functional personalization teams, rapid experimentation platform, data streams, evidence and causal thinking, conclusions and limitations, and putting in a head for AI marketing and data. For the bad, you have the need for human and AI co-creation and talent reallocation. On the dangerous part, you have AI governance framework and reporting to temper what's going on with the dangers from AI. You need human readable reasons when you make decisions. You have to bring in qualitative inquiry, and you have to make sure that people are accountable for the decisions that are being made.
Okay. And then, of course, this is another highlight of your talk, the last slide, where you say,
The last.
I hope you
I hope you
enjoyed
enjoyed
the
the
BS.
BS.
Uy, that wasn't BS. Wow, talagang ano. I remember. It was for me, it was one of the best talks for that Digicon.
Thank you.
And that's why I said I have to invite him to the podcast. As yun na lang talaga pag-usapan para it's so important to be able to go through all those minute details, no?
yeah.
And for people to really understand. And for me, the takeaway talaga, I really like what you're saying. AI for the first draft and the human expert for the final draft. Now, we can't just like hand over everything
Yes.
like that. Or else then, diba? We would have philosophy subjects in college, diba? Questions about existence. Diba? What is your purpose in life? What is your purpose in life kung i-hand over mo lang lahat sa AI? So anyway, Cliff, just final words na lang siguro, like 2-3 sentences, and then we'll end this.
My recommendation to people when they look at AI coming into the marketing world is there are certain things that differentiate us and make us better than AI. So AI is artificial intelligence. There's a part of us where natural intelligence is better. And this is in general what we call the creative domain, right? And creative does not only have to do with graphics or with being witty, right? It's also figuring out solutions for which there are no patterns yet. They're new, they're valuable, and they're new. And there, the AI cannot beat us, right? So it's in the creative domain where we learn to use certain faculties that help in emphasizing the value that we bring to an organization.
Okay. I was just sorry. I just wanted to add this one last thing. I don't know why, no, but after like 35 years as a journalist, and then because every day I would look at video. I mean, yun naman trabaho namin. So nasanay ako sa video. So alam ko kung ano yung totoo, ganun. And I can spot fake video, yung AI right away. I don't know why. Is it gut feel or something? And speaking of the word gut feel, parang that's the thing about when you know something was made by AI from start to finish. Parang walang puso.
Walang
Tama
soul.
ba yun? There's no soul. Soul, that's it. It's not just heart.
Soul.
There's no soul.
Yeah.
Diba? And all throughout the 2-day Digicon conference, so we would be shown all sorts of videos and ads and whatever. And the ones that were AI talaga, yun yung walang soul, walang tama, walang...
Doesn't connect.
Didn't
Doesn't
connect.
resonate.
Oh, it
Doesn't
didn't
resonate.
move me.
Yes.
It didn't move me.
Yeah.
Parang ganon. No?
Yeah.
And I don't know if kung tama yung sinasabi
Yeah.
ko about AI.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, anyway, wow, we spent about like an hour already,
Yeah.
almost an hour. So Cliff Eala of BS Works, Behavioral Science.
Yes, behavioral
BS.
science.
BS Works. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you. Thank you
So
for
we
the
have 2 more
opportunity, yes.
episodes, ha? Yung political campaign,
let's
etc.
schedule that.
A whole can of worms. No, 2 cans of worms have just
Yes.
been opened. Maraming salamat. Thank you for
Yes.
being here
Thank
on
you
Let's
too.
Talk.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you and bye-bye.
Bye.
The opinions of podcast creators, hosts, and guests are not necessarily reflective of the official stance of the Pod Network Entertainment, its hosts, or other network programs. The content created by the people behind the podcast is personal and not meant to harm any religion, ethnicity, group, organization, company, or individual.